Welcome aboard. It's Captain G for Eggman. This is the U.S. KMT turn of Operation Ultra, turn 4. The U.S. is now in the war, having been attacked unprovoked by the Japanese and their capture of the Philippine Islands. Starting with the KMT, they come into this turn with 12 IPP cash on hand. They are buying 4 infantry. The U.S. is purchasing with their income. They were at 78, and then Triple Crown pointed out after we had recorded the turn 3 video, that on turn 2, the last time I did one of these turns on my own without Eggman to check my math, I overpaid for the Marines. So we had 2 IPP that rolled into this turn. So we're actually spending 80 here. So we are going 10 with a regular fighter, 11 with a U.S. naval fighter, 16 for an aircraft carrier, 21 for 3 destroyers. We're buying 2 of the sub chasers. We're spending 10 on another destroyer and another Marine. This was 10 that we were looking at sending possibly to Russia, possibly to the UK, but we didn't like the odds of that roll, so we've postponed that. We might come back to that decision later. And then the final 4 is a military base that the U.S. will place to replace the one they lost in the Pacific. All right, so let's start with the KMT. We have 1 combat move. It's a walk-in, really. From Yunnan, we're sending 1 infantry down the Burma Road to find out why the supplies have stopped coming. That liberates that territory. Japan goes down 1, the KMT goes up 1. And I'm putting this marker rather than the FEC marker because Calcutta is still captured. So this income will go to KMT until this is liberated. All right, so that is the 1 combat move. Non-combat, this Chiang Kai-shek is moving his main army from Chungking Hupei, because I'm tired of saying it, and he's moving down to Quy Chau, which is much more easily understood and pronounced. That force, just to confirm for my fellow players, 4, 5, 9, 10. 10 infantry. Can you see that? You're right at the edge of your vision. A stack of 10 infantry and 7 artillery in our main army here, moving up along the frontier. That is our non-combat move. All right, so that completes that. Let's go to place units. So we take the 4 off the build, and we're going to place all 4 here in Yunnan. And then our income was at 11. We've now moved up to 12 with Burma, and put that on that 12 IPP into their build plate. And that'll be KMT's cash on hand next turn is 12. Moving to the U.S. The U.S. also has 1 combat movement, and then a couple non-combat. So I'm going to take you over here. Hopefully you get a good view of the side of my table that's dark. Down here, where the Japanese are convoying the U.S., we are going to clear up that convoy zone. So from the U.S. fleet in 133, which is this Naval Task Force card, and don't worry, Canada, we're not leaving you high and dry. The Admiral is dispatching the two destroyers to go sub-chasing, and the 2 submarines to work with them. 1, 2, 3 to get down here, and there's the San Francisco port. So defending, the sub has a 2, and attacking the U.S. Task Force submarines and destroyer squadrons are all at 4. So let me get you where hopefully you can see the chart or see the box. Good? Okay. So the Jap sub at a 2, the 4 US dice at 4, 2 destroyers, 2 subs. Okay. The Japanese missed, the US missed 3 out of 4. Desron 1 did get a hit and has cleared that zone. So that will move the US from 73 back up to 78, which is 2 shy of their full strength. And those 2 are the Philippines, and they'll be a little harder and take a little more investment and resources to liberate, but don't worry, we'll get there. All right, staying in the Pacific theater of operations. Okay. We have 1 transport. We're going to send an infantry in the western United States. They'll load onto the transport and get off the transport without the transport moving sea zones in Baja and activating our Mexican allies and motivating them to join us in the war. So that is the culmination of the movements on the Pacific. So let's head over to the Atlantic, where you probably have guessed what's coming next. All right, so in the Atlantic theater of operations, there we go. We have this Army unit in South Florida. They will embark on this transport. Ta-da. Pay no attention to the German army stacked over here in the Andes. And they're going to move 1, 2 to Sea Zone 55, and the army will disembark in Recife, which is the capital of Brazil, activating this ally. Both Brazil and Mexico went from strict neutral status to pro-allied status once the U.S. is at war. The other thing that I was going to mention when I did the bill, but I'll point it out now, these minor factories automatically upgrade to major. Only the 3 minors that the U.S. starts with get that upgrade. If the U.S. had purchased another one, say for Southeast U.S., it would have remained a minor. But the starting 3 automatically move up as corporate America wants to get involved in this war profiteering thing that's going on. Oh, one other thing. So this U.S. task force squadron using the port will move 1, 2, 3 to join up with this force here, which is, these ships are now U.S., as is those infantry. Okay, that completes our non-combat movement. So let's go over here and place units. So now that we talked about the factory upgrading in San Francisco, I can place 10 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So all of this will be placed in San Francisco and or the Sea Zone 133, joining to that fleet. The Marine in San Francisco on the 1st Marine Task Force card right here. And the ships, so the Saratoga embarked with 1 squadron of Marine aviation and 1 Navy fighter. So the Navy fighter is the designation that is of relevance as far as values in this game in target select. Okay, Navy Army is Marine Corps Army, Air Force, Army Air Corps is just for fun. So all of those are going here to start flushing out the Pacific Fleet for Admiral Nimitz. The military base is going to go in the Hawaiian Islands, so we can start recruiting some of the locals there and start setting up our defense. All right, collect income. I already collected income for the KMT for the US. Clear off that card. The US is now, with the clearing of that C zone, at 78. So I'm going to put that on. So that's the purple that I spray painted, or 25. So it's 50, 60, 70, 75, 78. And then I get an additional 5, which I have to move up. That is for Baja and 4 for Brazil. So 5 plus 78 is 83 most of the time. So we're at 83, and then the US only has 1 bonus, and that is worth 25. So as Hambone was alluding to, as far as the US build, so 83 and 25 gives the US 108 IPP to spend and or to share with their allies on the next turn. That completes the US. We will now turn it over to Triple Crowned and Il Duce for the Italian turn. For Eggman, I'm Captain G. Over and out.